Then looking back down, looking back up. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sales Chatter. Today, um, we're actually going to be kind of working off, actually not kind of, we are going to be working off a conversation that started yesterday. And we truly believe this conversation is really going to help clarify a lot of things. And the essence or the nucleus of today, if you will, is so what is value? What does it mean to you? And what does it mean to your customer?
Welcome to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
So we actually got a victory this morning from Jeff. Ryan says boom, and then Lisa says good morning. So I've got Jeff coming in 41 seconds after. Then Lisa says he got me again. So today's session actually was spawned by a question that Jeff had yesterday, which is like, what is value? What's your value that you bring to the market? And you know, as we said yesterday when we were going through Mayhem Monday and the value ladder, DJ, decade and a half, easily, maybe even close to 2 decades that I've been in this industry, I had no idea what value I brought to the table. But I can tell you one thing. As soon as I realized what value I brought, how I really helped customers achieve their goals, and really that my value in the market was helping customers achieve their goals, was enhancing their image, credibility, and brand. That was the value I brought to their business.
Yes.
I went from mediocre to multi-million-dollar salesperson, which felt like overnight. And I know it wasn't obviously overnight, but it felt like it, right? Like I've said this many times before. The last 8 years of my career, I probably had 600 or 700 times the success that I had in my first 20 years. Go.
I was just gonna say, I think Ryan might have nailed it with just his message right there. I think that's the biggest thing. Value is, especially social media everywhere. It's the biggest hyped thing to say, but he nailed it right on the head. It's you can't just say it; you have to do it. And I mean, we say that you're a great saying. I mean, what you're doing is screaming so loud I can't hear what you're saying, and that's you have to show. You have to bring the value.
100%. And right off of Ryan's comment, but what is that?
Again,
what is value? And again,
it's different for everybody. That's the thing. You don't know until you find out. So you have to qualify. You have to treat your customer the right way. You treat that person like another person and find out what values them. What do they value? I mean, it could be, and that's what the process you show on the baseball diamond, the qualifying. I mean, guys, the qualifying step should be the biggest point to find out, first off, what your client's true value is, and then are you aligning? I mean, if your value is this and they want this, then you might not align, and that's where you need to figure that out too. We can't fix everybody's problems, but we just need to find out whose problems we can fix, and I think that's where we really find the value.
And I found when I started really identifying like what is value to somebody, there's a lot of customers out there that don't really know what value means to them, right? That they perceive value as being something like price.
Exactly.
But there's always a hierarchy of what we're doing, and like Ryan said, value is one of the most overhyped and overused words. But it means everything in our business, and it's just everybody just throws that. We bring value to the market. Well, what kind of value do you bring? Well, what do you mean? We help customers move their freight. Well, that's not value. Like anyone can do that. What do you actually bring that nobody else brings?
Again,
right?
I guess. Okay, so I don't know if call me crazy, and I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion. Dan, I'd love to hear yours, but I think value is perception. Value is a perceived idea of your mind. I mean, I forget who I heard say this. I think maybe it was Zig or somebody. Zig Ziglar said this, but you can have, or maybe it was another training I was doing, but you can have somebody who you sell them a whole house of windows for $5,000 and they think they got ripped off. And then you can have somebody who sold a whole house of windows, the same exact windows for $7,000, and they think they got the greatest deal. Who got a better deal? The person who believes they got a better deal, not the 5,000, even though they paid less. And again, I think it's because it's up here. It's what is the value to them and what are they valuing? If they're valuing price, then the 5,000 person did get the better deal. But I don't think that's what
So I'll go a step
that's what we
deeper on that. Um, there's often been the saying, "Oh, you can sell ice to an Eskimo,"
mhm.
right? And that's actually ripping an Eskimo off because an Eskimo doesn't need ice, right?
Exactly.
Value is
Yes.
helping a customer achieve, in my opinion, value is helping a customer achieve a goal. Value is
Yes.
helping a colleague achieve a goal. Value is helping somebody sort out
Yes.
their thoughts, which is also another form of goal achievement. Like
Mhm.
the only value I see anyone bringing to any market is what's the outcome, what's the end result that you're looking for, right? Like we've talked about this before.
Yes.
I love golf. If you showed me a putter that would guarantee to take 7 strokes off my game, that would add serious value to me. I'd pay 5, 10 grand for it. I
Mhm.
got a buddy who loves music. He has a $10,000 stereo system. I almost puke every time I think about it because I'm like, I would never spend 10
Every
grand. Like I
yeah.
got a
But
$125 Sony speaker and it works
yes.
great. Right?
Yes. I
Like, but
agree.
and again, value, you're
And it's
right,
fun.
is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
But there's an inner core piece of it
Mm.
where it's like, okay, value to my buddy is being able to hear those crisp sounds.
Yeah.
It's not paying $10,000 for the speaker. It's the sound that the speaker gives, the results that come from that purchase
There it is.
is
Yeah.
what the value is to him. Not to say, oh, I spent 10 grand on a stereo, like that. I mean, and I guess maybe some people it's the bragging rights is the value, right? Could be, could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah. I mean, I think that's the battle we see today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And look at now the exercise is blowing up here.
No, I
Um,
love it. I
so
know
Jeff says,
we got some great
you
comments
think
out
you
there.
know your value until you sit down and go over what you think it is. Once you do this, it will be clear of what you bring to the table as platinum. Jeff,
Yes.
you are so right. And let me ask you this, Jeff, because I mean, this is kind of a loaded question because we've been talking about it offline this morning and last night. But how long did it take you to realize what your real value was to the market yesterday? So again, let me set this up. Jeff, actually, Jeff, if you've got the regular link, just jump in. Um, Jeff yesterday said, after the conversation we all had yesterday, he sat down for hours. And we're talking to a gentleman that's been in this industry for a long time, served a lot of people, helped a lot of companies. Still took him hours to get to the nucleus of what his
Of what
value
his
was.
value was.
Yeah. So
I
Jeff,
love it.
if you can, brother, if you still have the link from when you're on Wednesdays, jump in because I'd love for you to share with the audience kind of
Yes,
what you went
please.
through yesterday because I think it's important for them to see. Oh, Danny DJ sit here and talk
Well,
value, but
especially, I mean,
it's
he's been in here forever. He knows more than, I mean, the information he shares. Yeah. So
and it
yeah,
still
no,
took him
I'd love
that
to hear
long.
what he went through.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan says yes, DJ. Say it louder for those in the back.
Yeah,
Ryan's on
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
today, hey brother.
I
Um,
love it.
there we go. Jeff says I did this exercise. It's been a while. I spent 10+ hours doing it, and I'm still not done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But you know what? You think of that, right? You think of the investment. You invest, call it a day, right? 24 full hours, whether it be 8 hours in X amount of increments or 10 hours, 10 hours, and 4 hours. that is going to do more for your business over the next 6, 12, and 24, 36, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years than any other practice in your business, because now
Yeah.
you can speak to the true value of what you bring to the table and you can be seen as that. Great job, Jeff. Lisa says, Dan, this is a single question that I heard you ask in the first video I watched of yours that intrigued me to tune into more of what you share with our industry. Really made me sit down and think, just like Jeff Dickinson said above. Yeah, it is. Value. Wow, look at the comments coming in. Value is directly related to the number of problems you solve for others. I love that. That's awesome. How
I
can
agree,
we personally
Lisa.
solve
I
problems?
think that yes, value. Yes, the results.
Yeah. And finding your niche is where you get value. I do great with dog owners, but not cat owners. Yeah.
That's so funny. I was going to say that. Ryan. Yes, I think we get, I just had a meeting with somebody yesterday, and I told them, I said, they're struggling with sales and really finding and I said, well, the sales that you have made, who is you can't just sometimes you can't make who you want to be your avatar. You just have an avatar. You just have somebody who sometimes funnels to you. Maybe it's not what you think, but again, it's finding that and finding that niche. I think we try to, I want to help everybody. No, there is one person or one thing or one something that you can really just connect with better than anything else. And when you find that, the power. Jeff, what's up, man? Good morning. I want to help everybody. No, there is one person.
Oh, he's listening to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we got a replay inside the actual live show. That's pretty good. Jeff, can you hear us, buddy? Oh, no,
can you hear me?
It's a little unstable, buddy.
Yeah, he's good now.
We can hear you now. Perfect. So, Jeff.
Yes.
You good there, buddy?
You good? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's okay. All good. So, share with us what prompted this reinitiation of finding your value.
Yes.
Yesterday, when we were talking about that, I said to myself, man, it's been a damn long time since I even did this exercise. I thought that I knew what I knew, but when I started digging into things and I started going through my old folders and old files and looking at my past clients, and I really totally focused in on it. 10 hours. As soon as we got off the show, it was probably 10:30. I went from that time until 8 o'clock at night, 8:30. And that's all I did, man. Just pounded it. Did I finish it? No. Because over the years that I've worked in this business, and you have to look at everywhere that you worked, every person you worked with, the problems that came up. I mean, I can just keep on going. There's not enough time in the show to really go over everything, but you really have to dig deep. And because this is your career, right? You've done it for a ton of times. Dan, you've been in it for 2 decades now. I'm sure that you just couldn't come up and just say everything that you've done over that time. You really have to think, because there's just so many different things. So what I did was I had the nucleus, and then I divided it into 4 quadrants, what I call the crosshairs, which would be the customer profile and your value proposition crosshairs. And I'm looking at it right now. So I looked at my business values, my core competencies, my logistics control, my logistics operation. And then I just started listing and putting them into the quadrant. And then I put these little boxes, 3D boxes, and I created a customer profile. And every box has 4 sides. So on each side, I put question on one box, question on the second box. And then what I did is that there's also an inner part of the box that when you look in, you take the value proposition that you think you have. That's where you find the unknown hidden bank opportunities inside your client's prospects box. You don't know what they are until you uncover it. It has nothing to do with freight, nothing whatsoever, because you can't move what you don't know. It's what you understand and what you research that you can come across as someone that's knowledgeable enough to help them out. I know it's winded, but it's just a lot of work, man. A lot of work.
Mm-hmm. I find also I mean, I'm going to say it opens up Pandora's box, but I think in a good way if you allow it. So it challenges your ego. It challenges your authenticity with yourself. It challenges you to really pay attention to the real core of what you do, why you do it, how you do it, when you do it. It challenges so many things. Like, I mean, it even challenges your competency to achieve a daily mission. You know, I want to do 50 calls today. I want to do all of that. You know, the one thing that I can share when I did this exercise the first time is I did it when I was in a real valley. I hadn't sold or I hadn't closed any deals for close to 7 months. And I felt like I was swimming, right? And I was just like I was drowning. And then you grab onto a raft and that sinks, and you grab onto something else and that sinks. And I realized that I had zero faith in my operations team, zero faith in the company I was working with, and I had zero faith in myself because I didn't understand what I brought to the table. My job had and don't get me wrong, I had huge success before that, but it came to a point where it was so repetitive and it was just like going through every motion as opposed to having like a real intention for every interaction. And so if any of you are in that valley, this exercise is probably the best exercise you could ever do to spark your motivation, your energy, excitement, and rekindle your joy for your career. It really, really is. And it's a lot of work. It challenges you, like Jeff said, 10 hours. And some of you might, 10 hours less selling. Well, like, was it Einstein said, if you give me an hour to chop down a tree, I'm going to sharpen the axe for 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And, you know, that tree will come down so much quicker when you're razor sharp approaching it. Right. And so that same philosophy, if we can adopt that to our career, to our life, to our family, personal life, career life, you're going to see trees come down so much faster. I don't even know if that's proper English, but you guys know what I mean. And it's great. So Jeff, by sharpening his axe yesterday for 10 hours and he's not done. I mean, we're talking Paul Bunyan coming out ×4, you know what I mean? And just swinging, man. It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I think it is something we have. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The one thing, don't rush to the finish line because the finish line doesn't exist. It never does, because you're never finished with what your goals and objectives, because every day you're recreating new goals, new objectives that need to be met. So that finish line, that light at the end of the tunnel, you're never going to reach it. You shouldn't reach it, because you should always be creating more objectives. Stop. Don't win, or don't rush to the win. The way I look out the quantity of calls that you make, it's how genuine they are, and are you in your lane? Don't waste your time. That's what this whole process is. When you look at your value proposition, is who am I? What do I have to offer? And who am I going to go after that fits in my wheelhouse, not his wheelhouse, not the other person's wheelhouse. It's all about you and your prospect. Fit that. You can't put a round peg in a square hole, right? You have to find that niche, and it takes time. You know, don't be the jack of all trades. Figure out what you're really good at, and it takes a lot of time.
You know what? Speaking of, really finding out if it fits. Let's see if this fits. in your hole. So let's see if this lane fits into your typical move. So this one is a reefer load from Chicago to Orlando. We are talking $2.21 line haul rate per mile. We're talking $3 a mile, all inclusive with fuel surcharge. Now, here's the interesting part. Contracted rates, including fuel, are $3.79 a mile. So we're talking 80 cents a mile on what would that be? Almost a 2,000 mile lane, 1,500 mile lane. So that's quite a bit. And that's so if you've got contracted rates, just understand all-in rate on the spot market is $3 a mile. So just pay attention to that. Year over year, line haul rate per mile has changed and actually dropped 50 cents a mile. Reefer spot rates continue to climb into Chicago, averaging $2.56 a mile for all outbound loads last week. Is 5 cents a mile increase. Line haul rates from Chicago to Orlando are up 30 cents a mile in the last 3 weeks. So at the $3, they're up 30 cents a mile. So there was a point where over $1.09 was
difference between the contracts.
Yeah,
but it must be such. So here, just breaking down kind of what Lisa was asking yesterday. To me, sounds like this must be such a volatile, crazy lane. Then it was
and to break that down even further, right? If you have contracted rates in those lanes, there is only a matter of time before somebody is going to call your customer, spark their interest, and present them a rate that could be possibly $1 lower per mile than what you're charging.
But be careful and warn your customers. Be careful because the rates are already climbing. So it sounds like eventually they'll match the contract again or close.
Well, and that's probably the conversation, DJ. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, FYI. So just in competitive market research, rates are on the spot market. You might get calls from people where they're like $3 a mile or $3.30 a mile. Yes, I understand it's 50 cents a mile more expensive or cheaper than where we're at, but the industry shows rates are climbing. So if you're okay, we'll kind of play this for another. We'll play this for another couple of days, and then we'll relook at it. We'll review it, or we'll play it for another 2 weeks and we'll review it. So this is the reason we give you this, is because if you're in that position, start having the conversation. Yeah, exactly. All right. So where are we at, boys?
Hey, Dan.
Where we were there.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
This would be good in regards to spot rates contracts tomorrow, along with the oil discussion.
Okay, say that again, Jeff. Your voice cut out at the beginning there.
No, I'm saying this may be a great segue for the show tomorrow on Data Day with the discussion of contracts and accessorials. I think that we're going to do tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be a great discussion for sure.
I agree.
I agree. So guys, I know we're again running out of time, and I got to get out right on time today because we got quite a big drive ahead of us. But so. In closing, Jeff, because you just did this exercise, what are some of the aha moments that you had yesterday?
Some things that I may have forgotten that I'm not using today. Just have a lot of those things that you currently use, but you have so many more. It's a great exercise. I think that everybody should do that if they've been in the industry for a long time, because you do have that experience. You need to expose that experience. And sometimes, you get caught in that one little lane that you've just been pushing your every day. And you're like, but I have this and I have that, until you do the exercise, until you uncover it, you'll see how vast your value is that you never knew you had. But it takes time. It's not going to be easy for you to do. Don't expect to get it done in a couple of hours. It's not going to happen.
And it's interesting because you said earlier you said, when you think you find it, then you realize it's not it, and you keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And I can share with you, when I realized what the value was that I brought, it was like, it is that uncanny feeling where like the sky's open, the sun comes down on you, and it's like, that's it. That's it. And that's when I stopped, because I said, at this point, you can really overthink it, and you can add steps and complexities that you don't need. You really don't.
Right. And there's one more thing to this too. One more thing to this. It's okay when you're an individual and you're an agency owner, or you're just trying to find your own value. However, if you take up another level and you have a partner in your business, you have them do the same exercise. And what happens is you're here, you're there, and now you bring all that together, and now you unify your partnership, because now your value has just increased because your partner's value may be different than yours. And now you just up the ante. Now you have more things to offer that you may not have thought you had in the past. So you got to think about that, not on an individual, but if you have a business and you have a partner, discuss that exercise with your partner. Have him or her do that, and you'll be amazed, absolutely amazed.
Well, and it's also laser focused approach to
It
business
is.
selling, and it's a consistent message, right? Like when you have more than one person focused on the same goal, mountains move as if they were
Yes.
molehills. And I know it sounds so Pollyanna, and oh my God, everybody says that, but it's so true. Like when you have like-minded people focus on the same, and we just went through it with
Yes.
owners that we have in a company yesterday. We were on a call, and one of the owners said, "Hey guys, listen, like, we got to focus on the mission here, because we're talking about all sorts of great stuff, but the baseline is this mission. This is the value we're bringing to the market. This is how we're going to change the market." And we all kind of stopped and went, whoa, yeah. Like we were all focused on different, very good points. Don't get me wrong. Like each point would be a game changer, but it's like, what's the nucleus of what we're doing? And that intention, bringing it back to that every single time, creates so much power, so much traction, so much energy in and amongst yourself, or you with a partner, a team, whatever it is. It's crazy when we have that intention.
Crazy, nuts.
Lisa says, Jeff,
and you'll find yourself,
change.
And you'll find yourself with a different marketing tactic, and you'll start to rebrand what you have when you do that, because things change drastically. It truly does. And I'm in the middle of that right now. I'm not done at all. And we're having meetings, and we're going to put that rebranding out there. We're going to remarket what I have out there, and it's going to be totally amazing, and I know what's going to happen when we do that. So I'm pumped, I'm excited, and I'm ready for it.
Good for you. Good for you, bro.
And Jeff, you nailed something with, if you have a partner, I think even taking that a step further, and your carrier partners, guys, if you're a broker,
absolutely,
your carrier partners, what do they do so good, especially if you have close carriers that, like, you're working with them a lot? Like, what do they do so good? Or even get them to do this as well. Figure out what their value that they believe is, and then tell them what you think their value is. Maybe you can help them align that value, and that's really what's helping you take your customers to the next level. So yeah, no, I agree.
It's all about collaboration, total collaboration.
Yes.
Remember, carriers have just as many needs as shippers, and you have to uncover those and then educate your shipper about those needs. And once they have a good understanding about how carrier works, magical things happen.
Yes. I love it.
Love that. Love that.
Oh, I love that. Magical things happen, guys. You heard it first. Jeff nailed it right there. Magical things will happen. Thank you, everybody, for joining us like you do every day. Jeff, thanks for hopping on so quick.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for hopping on. I think that added huge value to everybody. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially that you went through this. You guys, you really should be checking in on this in each bucket of your life. as seasons. Think of your life as seasons. If you do that, you always stay fresh and always know what your value is. But again, thank you everybody for joining us like you do daily. Sales Chatter Live, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Start your day right with us, right here live. Again, thank you to American Logistics, Centurion Trucking, and Daman, People Over Profits. Looking for a new home, looking for people who take care of you. There you go. And as always, Dan, thank you. Thank you guys for all the comments and everybody out there. Quote to take us out. Actually, it's just from Live Purposefully Now. And I just loved it. Everything you need is already inside you. Don't wait for others to light your fire. You have your own matches.
Boom.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking and start designing your